Good day, my name is Mxolisi Nkutha. I'm the board member of the Kwa-Thema Stimulation Centre, and what we do, we are a daycare centre for children with severe disabilities, ranging from cerebral palsy, hydrocephalus, to autism. So that's what we pretty much do. And we brought in Foam Development as one of our partners to take us through a process that started last year after the founding member, Miriam Debele, passed away, and they came on board just to really help us understand what's going on with the center, how to increase our value proposition, and how to actually just position the organization for growth. And so I'll go through some of the questions that they've posed to me that I'll be going through. How did I find the communication with Foam? The communication was perfect. Foam made the effort to come out to the organization. They went through the interviews of the staff members through various languages. And I must say, in terms of really going down to the crux of the matter, is that they really asked the right questions, and they were able to convey the questions in a manner that everyone could understand. So basically, from the board members to management, to the caregivers and to the cleaners, I think everyone was really clear with the communication. They could understand the questions and even with the translation of the questions. So everyone was happy with that. I think for that, for me, I'd give them a 10 out of 10 in terms of the patience, in terms of really going out on site, not just telephonic, but really doing live interviews, getting to understand the people, getting to hear their stories. So for me, the communication was great and to the point, and I think some of the information that they got that came out in the report was very valuable. And then the second question, has it been valuable to us? The report, immensely. The report has been very immensely important for us and valuable, especially after the passing of the founding member. So we came together and we said, where are we as an organization at the present moment, and then where are we going into the future? And what Foam Development came to do was to actually show some of the opportunities, some of the threats, and some of the weaknesses that we had in our organization, whether in terms of human resource management, whether it was in terms of social media strategy. So they really came in, and I must be honest, the report was really an eye-opener for the board and for people who are not really onto the ground and people who are not really very operational into the organization. So for me, it was a real eye-opener, and I think for the board, it really opened our eyes to say, where should we be putting most of our effort? So instead of directing all our efforts into different things, into everyone looking at fundraising, but fundraising is not just the most important thing. There's other things that we have to look at in terms of social media strategies. How are we looking in terms of human resource management? How are we managing the people? And those are things that really came out and were highlighted into the report. So for me, it was very valuable, and it was valuable for the staff members. And we're working on the recommendations and really talking to the recommendations and how do we actually enhance our service offering. So for me, it was very valuable. I think every organization would need a kind of overview and a strategic overview like we've had, just to really open up your eyes, give you fresh eyes from outside, just to really see what's going on. So for us, it was valuable, so much so. Okay, coming in, what were you hoping for to get from this process, and did you get it? So coming in, we're really hoping for just an overview of what's going on within the organization, and just to give us, just really an overview. But I think what Foam did, they went over and above in terms of our expectations, and especially for me, especially led by Nabila and Faith and the team. I think they went over and above what we expected. I think they really gave us a real deep insight, and I think even the report just shows how knowledgeable they are in terms of the disability sector and what's needed, and what's needed for it to grow, and what's needed for the service offering to be much better. Not just looking at the children, but also looking at advocacy work around community, around the parents, and all of those things. So those are highlighted in the report. So I think the whole process, it was, so we really got more than what we bargained for. I think everyone was surprised about the report, and I think it went over and above our expectations. So do I think it will make it more impactful and a sustainable organization? Definitely. So some of the recommendations was really have to look at sustainability in terms of really turning the organization just from an NGO and looking at it as a social enterprise. So immediately after our report, we started looking into that, and just for feedback, we've really just gone a step further since last year after the report came out. So we're looking at more getting into training, and we've been doing that, and we've got accreditation really to accreditation in ECD. So that's going to give us a real opportunity to be able to really add the sustainability. So in terms of that, the organization really helped us, and we're really looking forward to really turning the organization around, not just from a NPO or NGO, but more into a social enterprise, and bring in that much needed income into the organization so we can grow our impact. And one of the key findings also from the report was really making sure that we really measure our impact, not just measuring impact and looking at the children, but also measuring our impact in terms of parents, in terms of our community, in terms of our workers in the organization. So it really opened our eyes in terms of the kind of work we're doing and how to measure it, and really to look at measuring our impact, and then also really turning our organization into a more sustainable organization in terms of bringing in extra income. And then key insights that you didn't have before. As I said, I think there's numerous key insights that as an organization we didn't have, that were really highlighted by firm development in the team. So sure, there's a whole list. So I'll look at our social media strategy. Really, they spoke to that to say, guys, you have to work on your social media. You have to be out there, have to be engaging. They spoke to our weaknesses in terms of advocacy work, how we work in our community, and in terms of our impact. So even though you're doing great work, but how are you really telling that story? How are you really showing people our impact? So they spoke to that. And they spoke to really some of our human resource capacity issues in terms of our children to caregiver ratio, which is really going to be addressed by adding in the sustainability part to really bring in more income so we can hire more caregivers, so we can decrease the amount of caregiver to child ratio. So they spoke to that. So I think the report just in general really opened our eyes. I think there were a lot of key findings in the report, and also for us just opened our eyes just to go forward to say really to turn this organization around and to really increase the vision of Miriam Debele. These are the kind of things that you have to be doing. So in terms of our board meeting that we're having this month, we're going to be focusing mostly on the reports that was provided by the team, also to have a strategy going forward for our next financial year. So in terms of key insights, I think that's the main thing that really came out of this report. Just the opportunities that are out there, just the strengths that organization has that maybe we're not talking to. So so those were the key things, and some of the opportunities and threats were really out there. So I think as a report, holistically, the work that firm development did was outstanding, and I think I would recommend this kind of strategic overview, this kind of consulting to any organization that's working in the NGO space, in terms of the kind of feedback that you get in terms of talking to sustainability, talking to your social media reach, talking to the advocacy work, talking to the human resource management in terms of your engaging your employees about the kind of work that you guys are doing, in terms of also measuring our impact and telling our story. So I think as a team, I think we'll be looking forward to working more with firm development and the kind of work that they're doing. We're hoping that other organizations could have this kind of work. And I think if you are going to come back in a year's time to do your impact measurement, I think you'll see a real difference. And the difference would have really come from this report that firm development has produced for us. Yeah. So I would like to thank the team for the hard work. I'd like to thank Nabila. I'd like to thank Faith for the hard work, and the rest of the team of really putting the work together and really giving us something comprehensive and something to work on. And especially in a time of change for our organization, this was very important. So big up to FOAM, and thank you for the hard work. And thank you, Faith. Thank you, Nabila. Thank you so much.